garbage.
Our rapid fire experts, and then time to keep collaborating. Make sure everybody's doing bingo and entering their.
So you started that?
Yeah. Not yet done your bingo, and I have not, so this is the pot call of the flag. Go ahead and scan your QR code, enter your entries, and, I guess we're allowed to enter.
I'm sorry, I was just asked to help a friend to deliver something in one of the properties. Brandon, are you still here? Okay.
Do you mean turn it down or?
We have some people stuck in a restaurant. Let's go ahead and get the show on the road. I've had the pleasure of working with the DNA board and also Michael Wilson to fine-tune a real estate finder website that is specifically focused on downtown. Turn it up. There we go. Thank you. I've got a little echo. And the real estate finder idea came about because I was curious to know about how many buildings were available for sale downtown, and I couldn't find the answer. I couldn't find the answer on a single website. I couldn't find the answer on MLS or Zillow or any of the other, certainly not homes.com. And so it dawned on me that Natchez could benefit from a single site that would have buildings for sale and for lease, posted by realtors who are representing the building owners and also owners who are representing themselves for sale by owner. Now, some realtors might see that as unfair competition if you list it on the same sites as for sale by owner, but it's no different than Zillow, for example. And also, there are people who are just looking for space to lease. And so lease space, you want lease space, what do? You drive around downtown, look at signs in the windows, you talk to friends, you talk to other people that you know. So this is what we're trying to accomplish. I'll call it a work in progress. It's called downtowndoorway.com. As of today, we've got 22 listings downtown. I think there's 1 or 2 for sale by owners. And so what we have here is a landing page that has rotating featured buildings at the top. And we also have then individual properties that are coming up in small thumbnails. Below that, you can see apartments, houses, or commercial spaces for sale, for rent. So you can start your search if you want to fine-tune it right off the bat. You just come down. We'd encourage you to send clients, friends, family to this website. We'd like to build our traffic base. So what we have, for example, are the properties that are, we have 6 or 9 properties right off the bat, Michael.
Well, there's 6 on the front page, and if you click view all, you'll see
6 on the front
the
page.
22.
Those are the small thumbnails, and now we're going to go down to view all properties. Let me go right there. And then you scroll through. However, you can also categorize your searches, okay? And hit, well, what I was looking for. For sale, for rent, type. We're going to say that's your building use. You can common tools. I'm just not going to go through every single one of them because I think we're all internet savvy on real estate websites. Okay? But I just like to look at real estate. Okay? Okay. So I would scroll down and look at all properties. So for example, this one, Experience Glacier Living in the Heart of Downtown, this is something that had just come in. Okay? Gentleman had received social media about this event and got it posted. And just like every other site, put in a title, see what pops up, and attract people. Several of these buildings are on the tour today, but if you go back to the site, for example, prime commercial property overlooking the bluff, that's what we have right here. That's a listing. It is, having done a little research on it, it is a very old building. You can't tell this by looking at the listing photograph, but
Why don't you click one and show them the details?
okay. Well, let's do the Citibank. Okay. There we go. This is one of the more sophisticated listings, I think. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off that pop-up. And this is listed by Sue Stedman, Elmer Stedman, and for some reason, is this an Apple?
No, you just have to click the left side of the touchpad. Left click, right click.
There we go. So they can post up to 50 different photographs. This doesn't have that much, but here you see all the data that collates down together. Now, commercial property buyers always look at price per square foot. Sometimes residentials do that as well. You scroll through, you get a more than a snapshot of the building, okay? And this is the Google map link. Imagine if you're from out of this market area and you want to take a look. The map connection is a new feature. We didn't have that last year. And so here we have to connect you, if you're the user, with the realtor or the owner. And this is a direct connect. It goes straight to whoever listed the property. And agents sign up as agents. And building owners have to sign up as agents too. That's very important. Now, let's go back. Where's your back button?
You could just click the logo at the top.
Okay. I'm used to using the mouse. So there's a couple of things that Michael wanted me to highlight, and I'm going to come down to that right now. And one is under View All Properties when you have to search. Okay. I go to the maps a lot. Oops. So here is, so just like you would normally see on other national and international websites, right here in downtown Natchez. Those are our featured properties. You can also click on the connections. And, features. If you are wanting to list a property and you have trouble loading it, okay, please contact us at DNA. There's a few things that are a little different, say, than MLS. It's not, it's just a matter of style, I think, rather than style of the software. And that's about it. So we have options here for you. It's a lot of fun to browse. We're going to move ahead and try to list as many properties that are currently featured. We're off to a good start. Looking in the middle of the pad. So you see, it's truncated, and the objective is to drive people to the person who has entered the information. It is for lease also, so property managers do this too. Property owners.
Is there a fee?
There is no fee. This is free. This is free. And once it's loaded, it's live immediately. This is our secret. There's no internal review. And it's going to stay that way up until and if ever we have a problem. We want to make it as accessible to everyone as possible. So, any quick questions?
Yes, what about like Airbnb listings or anything like that?
Very good question, Lori asked. This is not a short-term rental website. That business is best accommodated by short-term rental property major websites. Okay, this is filling a need that doesn't exist right now. So Airbnb, VRO by owner, other kinds of Airbnb collective sites, they do that best. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm one of 4 quick speakers. The next speaker is.
Can I just say something, how wonderful this is, and how important it is, and what a great job you guys have done on this.
Thank you.
And I know that we need to promote this all the time, a lot. Because, and it's almost as if this morning, I wish we would have encouraged people, taken the opportunity, because we have a larger audience and more realtors. But that does not preclude us from really evangelizing this website, because I think it's one of the most important things we've done for the DNA in terms of our what I think of as meaningful engagement and economic vitality, of which you are part of, and doing a phenomenal job. Thank you for.
Thank you. When you think about it, already having 22 listings already for the downtown area, there are several more.
And it's like you said, the leasing is not available on Zillow, right?
Right, that's right. And there's one residential lease space listed in here. That ordinarily, an individual would post it wherever they feel comfortable doing it. So, Facebook, Craigslist.
But it's a wonderful, it's an intimate interaction.
Yes. And will be maintained in a professional way.
I like that it's like all up under one umbrella, and it's focusing on Natchez. And, you know, because with Zillow and all those, you can invest any of those listings, thank God that we have those, you know. But for Natchez, I think with it being Natchez focused, it's a great opportunity for Natchez and
So I think we gotta submit it for some award with Main Street America.
That's right. Yeah.
So one of the, downtown Natchez Alliance, we are required to have transformations track that's posted on the site, Main Street America, and our transformation strategies are placemaking, which means making downtown a place you want to be, and long-term residential living. And so this product, this is addressing the Airbnb question. Yes, Airbnbs are important, but they are not a substitute for having people living and working and shopping in the town. And so that is why we are pursuing this, because it goes directly to the heart of our mission. And I envision a scenario where there are QR codes all over town, and everybody from the candle shop on Franklin to the salon on Main, everyone knows that that QR code will take the tourist or the visitor or to this link. So we've all been asked, oh, we'd love to buy something in Natchez. We'd love to move here. All you got to do is say, see this QR code right here? Boom. And, you know, we're turning our downtown residents and our community, we're turning everyone into an ambassador. Well, we all already are ambassadors for Natchez and for downtown. This is just a tool that makes it work. So,
Yeah, like
that's a tool in the toolkit.
Richard.
A couple questions. First of all, I mean, it'd be as you said, it is hard to find that. Even if you go to Paul Green or one of the local realtors in search of commercial properties, it's actually hard to find that. So that is truly needed. What has been your problem with getting, because even with 20 odd listings on, there are a number of downtown buildings that aren't listed downtown. What has been the problem to get people to list onto your website? As you have the realtors here, what is stopping people from listing if it's free?
Thank you very much, Richard. Before I hand the microphone over to Michael, and also Chesney may want to add on to this, building owners and realtors need to see a value associated with the time that they invest with doing something. And I think all business-oriented people are like that. And so, again, this being a startup, the process has been working one-on-one.
Is there not an easy way, and I know very little about website design, of importing other people's listings to this site?
Very good question, Richard. I'm going to turn that over to Michael and Chesney, but there are a few people I want to acknowledge. Marcia was first one on. Marcia Colson. First one on was listening to us, so I want to thank you for doing that. And so, yeah, we all are ambassadors. We're all ambassadors for this website as well. And it's going to take our DNA, constant marketing, to establish the value associated with having this website up and working. It's not one and done. And Michael will address the question associated with, oh, can I just do this once on MLS and have everything everywhere and I don't have anything more? So, here we go. Can you address that? All things are possible, Richard.
Let me add in before getting back to technicality, that the number one concern that the realtors have expressed is time. And then operator error, where something was funky with the photos and they didn't upload. And so, you know, the time, just didn't work, got frustrated, and as Liz said, the perceived value. You know, those are the top things. And they have all said, with the ones who I've worked with, exactly what you just said, can't we enter it into MLS and have it? And
We can do that, however, because it costs something. It's all related to anything's possible.
Convenience.
So I'm going to turn that over to Michael. Can you summarize that very briefly and then hand it back to me and I'm going to hand it over.
I'm going to do this very briefly because I know the key word here is this is rapid fire sessions. It's been great working with Liz and the rest of the team on Downtown Doorway. This has been a pleasure to build. And so to answer the question about MLS, that is on the roadmap is MLS synchronization and integration. We just need to do some investigation. Every MLS system is a little bit different. There's different providers, there's different regional MLS, so we just need to investigate how it's going to integrate. But the system is capable of doing that, and that's the plan, is to have it set up where it can synchronize and import MLS listings automatically and assign them to agents. Are there any other questions before I show up? Yeah.
So if you have an MLS listing, do you get, like I have short-term rentals, so I can have basically it's a website that takes you straight, you know, it's www, Airbnb, the jail, basically.
Right.
You can't just make it so that if you have a MLS listing that you can import the whole listing to your website?
That is, the goal is going to be MLS integration to where essentially any MLS listings in the MLS system that is used Natchez realtors that are in the downtown area will be imported and synchronized. It's going to take a little bit of work, but we are looking towards moving to that. And you'll of course still be able to manually enter your listings for instance, for sale by owner. They might not use MLS. They can add it on their own.
Commercial properties, they're not, are commercial properties on the MLS?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They are.
Oh,
Yes, so that's what we're working on. There's just a couple of variables like making sure it only synchronizes downtown properties, things like that.
Do you have links to, like, visit Natchez, Natchez Inc.? So if you go to Natchez Inc., can you find this website immediately for properties for sale? Do you get a link? I just looked on Visit Natchez and I could not find it, but I did.
We're going to work with them to do that, to get it on Visit Natchez and Natchez Inc. Marcia, you got a question?
Yeah, so when the listings are imported from the MLS into this, that would be at the request of the realtor or the owner, correct?
That's
That would be
the
listings
plan. It's not to just,
automatically imported.
right, the plan is to have it on an approval. Once an agent approves it, all of their properties will be automatically synced, but only if they have. And then of course, we can work with them to say, oh, well, we don't want these properties synced, but that is the plan. And it may be a few months before MLS integration happens, but that is the next big plan. Are there any other questions?
I just want to also repeat that if you have a building that is for sale that has short-term rentals, obviously that's part of the listing. In the for lease section, this is not really an Airbnb site. If you want to list and rent for a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, this is a place.
Absolutely. Very quickly, there's just one or two features I want to show. This will take 1 minute, and then we'll move on to the next speakers. So when you're looking at a property, let's just look at this one, for example. You can share the property, and I can share it on Facebook, for example. If I click Facebook, it'll open a Facebook window and share it on there. You can copy the link, or you can click this PDF button, and you have to give it a second because we're on 4G here. It will generate a PDF of the property with all your information and a QR code, which takes you straight to the property. So this would be a great resource to physically hand out to people that are interested in your property. And the other thing that end users can do is save searches. So if I go to view my properties and I go to advanced search, I can set my parameters. So let's say I'm only interested in, let's say, restaurants for sale. I can save that search. And now I'll go to my saved searches. And I can tell it every week I want an email with new properties that match my search parameters. And it'll email me on a weekly basis telling me, hey, new restaurants for sale are available. So I think that's pretty cool as well. And that's really, I don't want to take up a whole lot of time, but we're really excited about this. And I personally hope that we can see more apartments to rent on here, because I know this is real estate, this is for selling, but finding apartments is pretty hard in downtown Natchez, and I think this would be a great solution to that. And MLS integration is planned, and if anyone has any questions, you can actually just contact us right here from Under Help. It'll go straight to me and the DNA team, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Great job. It's a living, breathing thing. All websites have to continuously evolve. And I know that when I got on a call collaborating on the site, it was like my one little dovetail in. I leaned in and ran out, because you all had it going. The MLS thing was my question as well initially. And this has been a lot of work, and what I learned when asking the question was, it takes time, and you have to walk before you run. And so, but I think it's now at the point where you can pretty much run. So I'm just, so you should be very proud
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So there's four of us that are speaking rapidly tonight, this afternoon. I'm first because a lot of people, they might have a business idea, and obviously this day's activity is not on how to start a business. It's not on how to permit a business. It's our real estate focus. And so a lot of times people have an idea and they say, well, where does this belong geographically? So this series is looking at property first, secondly, looking at how to make the process happen. The next concept is how much is it going to cost? And that goes into not the cost of setting up and starting a building, but the cost of finding a building, renovating it to be what you need, or working with build to suit. And then the next process is, how do I get this approved? So that'll be our third speaker, Mingo Tingle. And then our fourth speaker is really a general good news update. How do you get your future customers into downtown and to find you? And we're going to have a brief presentation from Barbara Hanley, who is working on special projects with the mayor about wayfinding signage, bringing people into the downtown area. So now I'm going to turn it over to Barbara, and he's going to talk about the tax benefits of historic buildings.
All right, thank you, Liz, and thank you for inviting me to be here today, be a part of this. So I'm going to talk to you briefly about historic tax credits. So there are state and federal historic tax credits that are available for historic properties. And I love to share this information with people because this is really the best financial mechanism, best financial tool for owners of historic resources. Private property is not available for grants, so this is the best financial tool that we have. So, in order to be eligible for historic tax credits, your property has to be several things. It has to be listed on the National Register. That can be individually listed, or it can be listed as part of a district. So pretty much all of downtown Natchez are listed as parts of different National Register districts. And there's a map on our website, the Historic Natchez Foundation website, shows all these different districts. And realtors know this, but anybody, if you have a question about whether or not you're part of a district, feel free to call. We can look it up and share that information with you. So it has to be listed as part of a district. It needs to be a contributing building to that district, which is another thing that we can help you find, look up that information. And then, in order to qualify for the federal credit, it needs to be an income-producing property. The state credit is available for residences. So if you just have a private residence and it meets the other criteria, you can also get historic tax credits for that. So the federal credit is 20%, and the state credit is 25%. So if you take advantage of both, you can get 45% of your project cost back as tax credits. And what a tax credit is a dollar for dollar reduction on what you owe to the government on your taxes. It is not the same thing as a deduction. Okay, it's a dollar for dollar reduction in what you actually owe the government. And the state has a really great option in the state program to actually receive your credit back as cash, if you would prefer that. Most people don't have a lot of state income tax liability anyway, and they'd rather have the cash. If you choose that option, the cash that you get is 75% of what your credit would be. So it ends up being about 18% of your overall project cost. You can get that back just as a check. So there's a process to go through for the historic tax credits. It's best to reach out to us before you start your project because we need to do several things. We need to get pictures of the property before any work is done. We have to have before pictures and after pictures. There are also some guidelines to follow when you're doing your project, and we can help you with that. guidelines are not overly complicated, but basically what they want you to do is maintain the historic material. So think about it more as addition rather than subtraction. They don't want you to remove walls or expose brick or do things like that, replace all your windows. So they want you to keep what's there, and you can add to it. If you need to add a bathroom or something, I mean, that's not going to be an obstacle. So they can help you figure all of that out. So there's also a threshold of what you have to spend. In order to qualify for the federal credit, you need to spend 100% of the adjusted basis of the property, which is the value of the property, the value of the building itself. Now that's usually not that hard to do with the cost of everything these days. For the state credit, it is half the adjusted basis. So that one is a lower threshold. So you might meet that one, even if you don't meet the federal, you can still apply for the state credit. So anyway, it's a great program. It's a 3-part process. The first step in the process is called Part 1. If you're doing both, the federal and the state, you can use the federal application for both. And Part 1 basically explains that your property is a historic property. It's a description of what it looks like now, pictures of it, a history of it. Then the Part 2 is where you describe all the work that is going to be happening to the property. It goes through item by item, it describes it all. And then Part 3 is when you've completed your project and you have all of your expenses that are tallied up, and then that is what the credit is calculated from. And along with that Part 3, you have to separate qualified expenses versus non-qualified expenses. Most anything you spend on the building itself is going to be a qualified expense. If you do landscaping, if you buy window treatments, those are non-qualified expenses. If you have appliances like a refrigerator or a washer and dryer that you can take with you if you sold the property, those are not qualified expenses. But most other things do count as qualified expenses and can be part of your overall project cost. And we have a lot of projects that are happening all around town. We've done hundreds of these over the years. The last 50 years that the foundation has existed. Here's an example of one right behind me. This property was originally Green rehabilitated it as a tax credit project. 2 nice commercial spaces downstairs, a very nice residence above, and then across the courtyard in the back is a warehouse that's been turned into a garage and guest quarters. And most of their expenses are going to count as towards their project costs as qualified expenses on this project. So that is tax credits in a nutshell. So any questions? Yes?
You said that for the federal tax credit, so for example, the Greens, they have an apartment upstairs.
Yes.
They would qualify for that for state credit, but not for federal credit.
So the whole building qualifies for both, but this is where you have to go talk to your CPA. The percentage of the building that is commercial, they can use that for federal. The percentage of the building that is residential, that is just going to be state. So that's where CPAs get involved. There's also a little bit of a timing issue. You need to get your Part 1 approved before you put your property into service. Basically, it has to be accepted by the Park Service as a historic property before you put it into service in order to qualify.
So, could you explain, so you said before you put it in service, so before you move your office into it?
Correct. Before you start.
Empty, you have to be approved, and then you can start.
Correct. So, yes. So I usually try to do the Part 1 right when the owner purchases the property or when they start talking about doing a project. And then the review process, the state has 30 days to review it, and then the federal government has 30 days to review it after that. So it generally doesn't take that long, but it could be as long as 60 days to go through that review process, if you're doing it. Yes?
Can I just comment, don't be scared, because the worst thing they can say is no, right? But what if they say yes? And we have the most amazing resources right here at Historic Natchez Foundation. And Carter, Dad and I just got approved both of our properties. We went all the way through Part 3. There was nothing submitted. He didn't review first. So don't be scared. Don't back off of it. Just go ahead, fill out the forms. All they can say is no.
It's a worthwhile program. So, you know, like Elizabeth said, don't be scared. It sounds complicated when we're going over all of this really quickly like this, but it's really not
You know people.
I was not clear on the, before you put your property in service part. Does that mean before you start the construction or?
No, that just means before you put a business in there, before you start receiving income from it. So, you know, let's say if you're doing it as a retail shop, before you open your store, you know, the part one needs to be approved. That would be considered putting it into service. Or if it's going to be a rental property, before you start leasing it to somebody,
Yeah,
that would be
so
put.
that's the last possible opportunity for approval. basically.
Correct. And that's the IRS rule. You know, I kind of wish it wasn't like that because people have done great projects who weren't aware of tax credits, but they've already put it into service and then they're not eligible. But you know, I don't run the IRS. Yes.
And I would recommend that you actually get part two in as soon as possible as well, because there may be some things that you want to do with the building that, because we talked about some of the stuff about the plaster and whether it can stay or come off and things like that, that, you know, just get your okays from the state and the Park Service before you make those final decisions, because if part of it is disqualified, the whole thing is disqualified. I don't want to scare anybody, but, you know, you really need to make sure that you get those settled and answered.
But if you get it approved before you spend the money on it, you're good to go.
Exactly.
You know if it's disqualified or not.
So
You're like, okay, never mind, we're going
each,
that way.
each property is unique, each project is unique, so that's, you know, I really encourage you to, you know, talk to the Historic Natchez Foundation, or we can take that up the chain if we need to, and talk to reviewers about whether or not it would be acceptable to do this option or that option. And we can usually figure out a way to make your project work and fit within the guidelines so that you remain eligible. All right. Thank you.
Carter, thank you. That's a lot, that's a great benefit. Now we're going to go to Mingo Tingle, our City of Natchez city planner. They give us an overview on the review, approval, well, submission and approval for historic preservation certificates of appropriateness and other processes of the state. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank y'all for having me here. And so now the really good thing about all of this is that if you do go through the tax credit program, chances are you'll have no problem getting approval from the Preservation Commission. However, no matter what it is, whether it's a tax credit project or not, you need to make sure that any of the changes that might be proposed for the exterior of your property that is located in the Natchez local district, and we'll talk a little bit about the differences between the local district versus the National Register district. Those need to be approved by the Preservation Commission. And how you do that is you contact our office, the City Hall, the Planning and Zoning Department, and make sure that you fill out an application so that and we make a cursory review of that project, making sure that what we're concentrating on specifically at the city is the exterior. And once you go through our process, you will go through the Planning Commission, and then they will give the final approval and that COA, the Certificate of Appropriateness. And so what we're looking at basically the same thing as the tax credits are looking for that exterior. They're wanting to make sure that there's no substantial changes to the building that will detract or lessen the significance of the building's architecture. So one of the things that I want to point out here is that a lot of people wonder, well, how long has it been this way? Well, actually, we are celebrating our 75th anniversary of having a preservation district and a preservation ordinance. Started in 1951. It was a very small district. It was a very brief ordinance. But from that, we were probably the 5th in the nation to have a preservation ordinance. And so this year we're celebrating our 75th anniversary. We're going to have a celebration actually at the end of this month, May 28th, at the Historic Natchez Foundation, where we're going to kind of have a birthday party for our Preservation Commission. So please come and join us at 5:15 on Thursday, May 28th. And so this is kind of a long-held tradition here in Natchez. You know, we really value our historic preservation, our historic buildings, our historic resources, and through that, the commission and the city has allowed the development and the redevelopment of our downtown, and also protecting that thing, that the goose that laid the golden egg, you know, to remain and to stay here, to attract more and more people into the downtown. So, one of the things that we're kind of like, what can and cannot do to my building? Well, this right here is the Natchez design guidelines, and it contains most everything that we're looking for to make sure that what you want to do with your building. This gives like kind of the do's and don'ts of rehabbing the exterior of your building. Also, we use the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation, and this is the same standards that the tax credits use. And basically what this is that a lot of times, especially in your downtown areas, the building is not going to be used for the same thing that it was built for. So this is a rehabilitation. This is going to be a new use, a new programmatic use of that building. So changes are expected, and they're going to happen. A lot of the buildings in downtown did not have indoor plumbing or electricity or ADA compliance, things that we have to consider today. So the standards take that into account, and they realize those changes are necessary so that the building remains useful. So it's not that you're going to have a museum quality restoration of that building, but that it retains enough of its integrity and its appearance that it still looks like a historic building. So now we have support staff at the office that will help you fill out that application. It's not a very complicated application at all. It has grown, but that's actually to help you go through the different materials that you may have to deal with in restoring or rehabbing your building, like your masonry. What do you want to do with that? Your windows, your doors, things like that, so that you can kind of break down that scope of work, so that the commission will fully understand what you're wanting to do. And that way, chances are you'll get approval that it's not that big of a deal. Now, deadlines for submitting your application is the third Friday of the month, and then the Preservation Commission meets on the second Wednesday of every month. So, the third Friday of the month, submit your application. That gives us time to review it, then send it off to the commission members. They have a chance to look at it, and by the time the meeting happens, which is a public hearing, you're more than welcome and encouraged to come if you're submitting an application to answer any questions that the commission may have. And a lot of times, and Liz will tell you, sometimes the questions that may come up at the meetings will get resolved and answered, and even some a little bit of design and changes made, and then the property owner, is able to get their COAs. We're here to help you. We're here to assist in any which way that we can. We encourage you, please come to us early. If you have some ideas that you want to do with your building, let us know, and we'll walk you through those guidelines. And also we'll be here later as well, selling some merch from our Natchez Historic District caps, for t-shirts, even the design guidelines, and I'll be here to answer any questions you might have. All right, thank you.
I think this is actually a tougher question, but you might not know the answer. So if you have a building downtown and you want to put a living space above, do you design the living space to make it a rental property for a time before you want to move into it? Is there a workaround? And if you do that, how long do you have to have it income producing, get the tax credits before you can throw out the tenants and move in?
Well, the rule has been for that is that typically, I think 5 years, that it has to be income producing before it is taken off.
So 5 years.
5 years.
Because I'm flipping houses this too, so, okay.
Any other questions?
I just want to add, with the Preservation Commission, just because it hasn't been done in Natchez before, don't assume it can't, and don't assume they're gonna say no. They want to approve. They just want to make sure we're doing things, the best for our buildings, too, and for our whole community. But just because it has been done, doesn't mean it can't.
All right.
I have a question, would anyone like a Diet Coke or potato chips? Everybody okay, water?
Thank you, Mingo. On a personal note, I serve on the Preservation Commission. I've done it for about 10 years. I love it. I've seen changes. Something that Elizabeth was addressing, there's a new roofing material, and with the help of Justin Fuller at Wayfinding Grace, it was reviewed with a sample approved by the Preservation Commission and is now on a historic home on Cemetery Road. And this is a slate-like replacement. It is a rubber-based material. It looks fabulous. And so there's one of the, one example. I want to thank Mingo. I want to encourage you, if you don't have a hard copy of the design development guidelines, it's hard to get people, clients, if you're in real estate, to look at a, how many pages, 200 page document online. The same thing applies to the Downtown Natchez Alliance products that we have here that were actually sponsored by the city, along with organizational funding for the downtown master plan, which is apart from the preservation guidelines. That is the long-term future look at what is possible downtown. It's very graphic, it's very exciting, so DNA is selling copies of that, but because it too is a big document, we want you to pre-order.
Now taking pre-order sales.
And also, there was a traffic study that was done. Also online, that is not a huge document, but I know it was released, there was a lot of interest, there was some controversy about it. A lot of times people will comment without really understanding the whole background of the study and the content of the study, so we want people to become informed. And now for something that is free. The Natchez Historical Society has made available free copies of their, this is Natchez printing collection. So images from 1880 to 1960, these are not the same as the Gandy collection. This is a collection of images that was included in newspaper advertising and other photographs. So it's very interesting. It is free. This would also be a great welcome gift as a closing gift for people if you are a realtor. Also a good stocking stuffer. And we have plenty. So, take one, take 5. Okay? And the Natchez Historical Society will thank you. And so now we're going on to the...
Liz, could you clarify that the downtown master plan and transportation study were both commissioned by the city and are official city plans? They're not DNA, if anybody misunderstood that.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I must say that DNA has a role in getting that off the ground. Okay?
And the minute I walk by there.
But it is not a DNA product. Okay? I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Mingo's got other information pamphlets about the approval process at the city. So take 1 or take 5. last but not least, Barbara Hanley, I had introduced her. She is an amazing woman who's doing special projects for the mayor. And bringing people with signage to the downtown area has been on people's mind for a long time. It's gotten the attention of the mayor, and Barbara has done some wonderful work. Barbara Hanley.
I'm new in town. Welcome. Which I've been here almost about 12 years. So what that means is, I mean, it's good news, bad news, but it means that I've got fresh eyes. So it's really been helpful. I've enjoyed working on the Wayfinding project. I'm going to change this in a minute. Because, y'all don't know me, but I like for things to be straight. So if the sign is doing this, it's like chalk on a blackboard.
That's right.
So, here's the deal. And when I talk about this with people, they don't even know we have wayfinding signs. And here's the reason. That's the best one. You see it's Tingle.
Yes.
I'm not doing this right. That's the best one, sorry. It's competition. And then we got this one. So these signs are all over town. Our friend Richard back here led a group that worked on this a few years ago and did a great report. And they started dealing with signage on the periphery that would get people in town. But the challenge there is that's NDOT territory. And the short story, and don't correct me because it doesn't really matter. History matters, but this history doesn't. NDOT isn't going to sign downtown Natchez till we've signed ourselves. So when Dan and Richard Burke gave me this to do, I thought, I'm going to do low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to work on downtown. That's phase one. So what we're talking about today is not any of the periphery signing that MDOT is involved in, because that's a whole different animal, and Richard says, good luck. But, we'll get to it, Anyway, so the material that's used in these really old signs is, it's old stuff, and it peels, as you can see, in cracks, it fades. We invested in the technology to make these signs as a city several years ago. It's expensive technology. So the challenge with doing new signs is, can we work with that, this big plotter that we've got that's really state-of-the-art with new material that will last better. So then the next question is, there are a whole lot of signs around town. I would call it sign pollution.
Yay!
So the next question is, who do we play with? Who are we going to look like? And I had a whole list of people to go see who were invested in this for a long time, including Richard. I went to see Mingo, and he showed me this sign. So this is a sign that some of you may have seen, but it's been approved by the Preservation Commission. And this, we've got 7 historic districts, and they have been aggregated into one boundary that still exists independently, but NDOT wanted a historic district, not 7. So now we have a historic district, and the commission came up with a sign which I think is a great look.
Say how gorgeous that is.
Yeah. And when I saw that, I thought, we can play with that. With the wayfinding signs. So now the one at the bottom has that scallop at the bottom too, and the Mingo's ordered one of these. It's cast aluminum, so that we can be sure we like it. And then we'll order that. It'll be in 7 locations at the boundaries, the one-way streets coming in to the city. So I think it's great. And notice that the logo is a paddle wheel. So one challenge with the technology the city has right now is that the more detailed the graphic, the more likely to cause trouble. Because the way the city signs are made is there is a blank aluminum plaque. And over that is pressed a 3M product that is white, that's reflective. And then a sheet of whatever color we're using, blue, brown, green, that they used historically using that protocol. That's run through this plotter and the lettering is stenciled out and put over that white. So if you've got a dotted I or an E, you're asking for trouble. It's not really carefully done, and that sort of thing would be really tough to do. So here's what we came up with. Now, this is cast aluminum, and it's dimensional. It has relief to it. It has the bronze edge, and the lettering is dimensional. So here's what we came up with. This is a sign that we haven't seen yet. This is all on paper. The top, let me back up. The bronze part is a backboard, and that is going to be powder coated at the factory so that it lasts for a long, long time. It's a 20-year guarantee. The headboard, Natchez and the paddle wheel, will be made at the factory, and it will be mounted with spacers so that it's dimensional off of that sign. And then the 3 plaques below will all be made locally using the technology that we're using. We checked black as a color we can use. We won't be doing brown, green, blue, which I think a whole lot of people don't understand anyway. And if you looked at the 3 signs I had a minute ago, they're all different colors. Well, one you couldn't tell what color it was anymore, but so that's what we got. And over here on the table, you see that like really cute old purse over there? Right next to that where Liz is are, here's a map. Phase 1 in the city limits, we have 37 locations, and a third of them are new. Some of the existing locations we're not using anymore because they're blocked by trees. And then there is an Excel spreadsheet that is the grouping of the messages on each sign. Now, we're not going to sign Forks Road because the city doesn't own it anymore. Park Service is going to sign it. I talked to Kathleen, they got that. We're not going to sign Stanton Hall. That's a private property. We're not going to sign Magnolia Bluffs. We're going to call it Gaming, Historic Natchez, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see all that on these sheets that he's handing out. So, let's address the biggest problem for me, and that's the leaning sign. We're using a new way to install. The reason they're leaning is as far as the pit. I thought it was a core installation. That's not correct. As far as the pit. But we're using a new system that has an anchor that goes in the ground. The pole fits in that with a specific, it's called a big lock installation. So if the car hits it, they have to be breakaway by law. If the car hits it, the sign, the pole pops out. And the anchor in the ground is not disturbed. So pick the pole back up, it's still straight, and stick it in. If it's not straight, you got to need a pole. Well, the maintenance cost on this is a whole lot cheaper than what we got right now. You don't have to replace the whole sign. It's modular. You can change it. You can add to it, et cetera, et cetera. So, questions? Richard, I can't believe you don't have. Oh, Richard had a great suggestion that one of these signs needs to say river. Those people don't know how to get to the river.
How far out, and I see on the map, there's one on Devereaux, how big?
These signs are 30 inches across and 36 down.
But are they all uniform?
And some of the existing signs have 4 items on it or 1. These will be uniform. They'll have 3.
Is it possible, or do we get into the Mississippi state, whatever, situation? In a lot of small towns, you see they'll have a big overarching,
Or an entrance gate.
yeah, like an entrance gate over the street to really give you a reason to continue on. You know,
Right.
go to the historic district, that, because whenever I work for free for my daughter at the Butter Bakery, because she doesn't pay me, it's shocking to me how many people I have met who have said, I live here, I've never been downtown, I've never come, I didn't even know this existed. And I'm stunned by that. And then tourists who have come and said, we just happened upon this main street, we didn't even know that it existed, they were staying on the periphery of B&B on MLK.
That's a great point, and that's really how this whole conversation began ever so long ago. That's phase 2, signage on the periphery. And we're working with a contractor that the city already uses, so we don't think we have to go out to bid because they own the technology that works really well here. They are working with DOT to be sure this signage will work on the periphery. So we'll have, here's we'll have a gateway sign. Now, orange is a different matter. That's a completely different matter. And I'm no expert on this, but I would bet my new puppy that drives me crazy that MDOT won't let us do that. Won't let us do an orange. Now, in city streets, that's a matter for Mingo and planning.
Honestly, I think I have seen those arches in other towns.
Well, they have, but if it's not historic here, it may not end up coming in here.
But it could be out by what we call the bypass, like right where Devereaux and
Yeah, just know that that's MDOT. That is MDOT.
So we would need to reach out to MDOT to get it.
And I'm gonna appoint you to do that.
You know this already, right? We're stating federally approved.
Yeah, I mean, MDOT won't even let you plant trees without an extensive special permit, so, yeah.
that's where we get into it.
Yeah, I've seen what you're talking about, I think it looks great, and I'm not the decider here, but I kind of don't think that's smart. And I think, let's see what happens with these signs, and see how that looks. And, one thing, we're not going forward with this until we actually get the prototype past lumen, so we can be sure that the reflectivity is as close as possible.
Who's doing the work for all of this, Ms. Barber? Who's doing the work for all of this, like for the cast iron and stuff? It's all done in Natchez, you said? Am I saying?
The sign we made is
The sign we made.
The top portion.
Cast aluminum is being done by the present industries, and the signs that we're talking about are an organization out of Pearl that we used for a long time. And the new material is latex, so it lasts a lot better than this.
Thank you, Barbara. There's a few more special guests that I want to recognize before we wrap this up. Coming close to our midnight hour, which is 3 p.m. And the 3 special guests are I don't want to call it last man standing, but Jeremy Martin with Renaissance Community Loan Fund is a new invited guest. So I want you to speak a few words. Mike Grab is last man standing from Delta Bank. And then Justin Kohler with Levi and Grace, who has really some special services to offer from building construction and cost estimating standpoint. He's integrated as a young man, a young person.
Birthday's today.
Video, yeah. He's using modern tools for business and construction. So Jeremy?
Sure. Where else would you rather be on your birthday, right? DNA event? Yeah. Thank you so much. First of all, if you ever want a guy from Tupelo to come to Natchez, just invite him. I love your city. Love to see all the great things that are happening today. Love to see all of these vacant buildings and think about what could be today. It's overwhelming for a guy like me to see all of these in one day. I'm Jeremy Martin. I work for a nonprofit called Renaissance Community Loan Fund. We call it RCLF for short. RCLF was started to help rebuild the Mississippi Gulf Coast after Hurricane Katrina. So we were started in 2006, 20 years old this year. Started doing first-time home buyers, and at the time, restoring homes that had been destroyed after Hurricane Katrina. It evolved to small business lending. We still do mortgages for first-time home buyers. We still do financial counseling. We have 4 HUD certified financial credit counselors that work with our clients every day. But we also do small business lending. And we do it only in Mississippi and Alabama. And I wanted to tell you just quickly about 2 things. First, since the first day of 2020, our little nonprofit that has to go raise every dollar that we lend and every dollar that we spend on coaching has loaned over $103 million. Most of that in Mississippi. Very proud of the growth that we've had. We cannot do it without our partners. So if you turn it around, you'll see on the back, all of these folks make it possible. A lot of them are banks, where we step in and do gap financing. And certainly look forward to working with folks like Michael and Bill Bank in the near future. Cannot wait to do some partnership deals there. And also banks loan us money so that we can turn around and lend out money. If you know a business owner that is struggling, especially a new entrepreneur who's got a dream, they've tested a concept, but they don't know how to finance or invest in that concept, send them to me. I'd love to talk to them. Because the alternative to people like RCLF is predatory lenders loaning money at 30+%. Credit card company. And they'll bankrupt a business before it ever gets legs under it. So please let me know if I can work with them. The other thing I will show you is this. We launched an online resource platform a year ago last month. We currently have over 1,500 users in Mississippi and Alabama. It's called Compass. Compass has over 200 free resources to help a person start a business, develop a business, grow a business. It's all free. You never have to borrow a dime from us to take advantage of it. Okay? We did this to help protect people from some of these consultants who get paid thousands of dollars to provide you information you get for free. Okay? So that's exactly what this is for, Compass. Please visit with me before you leave. I'm at the front table up there. Cannot thank you enough for the invitation to participate today.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's been a pleasure to get to meet you and know you better. Mike, is there anything that you would like to add from a lender standpoint?
Come see me.
You know where to find them. Don't deny. Justin, you want to wave and say hi, or do you want to come up? Please say a few words about the services that you offer.
So, we are a full-service here.
Right, we've got a few images we want to project.
Some of us are getting a little older and can't hear.
We can't see, we can't hear.
Right, somebody try to help Julie at the door, please.
So we're a full-service commercial and residential construction company. It's got a roof, foundation, kitchens, bathrooms, you name it, we build it, fix it. And then we also have a maintenance division, so we're coming along once a month, or once a quarter rather, and do our quarterly checks, keep the building up to code, and report to the fine. We also do some fixing while we're there. We do a little bit of all of them.
Laser measure space, load it into the computer, use that 3D modeling along with cost per square foot, et cetera, kind of data, and come up with construction cost estimates based on reality
3D modeling. It's like
Quantifies the amount of material so that the correct amount of material is purchased, etc. Anything you want to add about that? Nope. Ready to go have crawfish. So, in closing, I'm now going to hand it over to Marcia. Marcia.
I'm not ready for that.
Chesney, and we're going to be wrapping it up right away. Thank you.
Elizabeth, where is she? Okay, door prize time. And so,
Should we start with the gift cards and go up to the bigger prices, or start on the bigger prices? Start on the gift cards? All right.
they're in the gift cards are on the table,
I'm looking to see how many are left. That box is
unless they're stuck in there.
There's 36.
Okay.
And there's 30 boxes.
Alright. So,
You're gonna do real estate.
And you see, it holds on to
Some people may be online.
okay, so the first one we have is A Gallery, and it's a gift certificate to the fabulous downtown boutique for ladies. And Michael, whoops, give it a spin. Florence Hargis. Okay. So Florence will get your prize, our first winner of the day.
Amazing. Amazing.
Let's get a quick picture if we can. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Well, yeah, let's do that. Cameras are calling.
Yes. Move in.
I mean, the other entries, they have five.
Should you be able to win more than one? We'll take one.
Oh, no, you get,
They just removed one.
yeah.
So they have five Mingos in order.
Okay, so our next one is Biscuits and Blues, right across the street. Give it a spin, Michael.
What's that?
Wrong, Michael.
Jennifer Freeman. Okay. Yeah. Our next one is Boudreaux. That Boudreaux Company on Franklin Street. Give it a spin, Michael. Handle soaps, gifts, beautiful shop.
Catherine Parker.
Catherine Parker.
It's definitely a lot slower than a traditional.
Okay, next is Butter Cakery. Beautiful, elegant cake. Spin the wheel. Richard Flanagan. Frankie's own name.
she's working the gift shop.
Okay.
I'm a bingo card.
A beautiful, time and frame.
Green fork, that's a good one.
The little green fork.
That's good, they do great.
Just down the street here. Give it a spin. Morton's Flowerland and gifts is next.
That's in time for Mother's Day.
And the flowers, and then we all work together and all of them.
The winner is Richard Franklin.
We're gonna just stay back here, huh?
House is awesome.
Mother's Natchez.
All right, Mother's Natchez on Franklin, Stokes. Dantone, Hanley, Emily. Bethany Serby. She's not here, but we will get it to her.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Natchez Coffee.
Natchez Coffee Company. And they donated the coffee.
Thank them for that this morning.
Yes. Yeah.
And the cups and all the things.
Michael Wilson. Planet Time. David. Uh-oh. Joanne Johnson.
Slick bricks, slick bricks.
Rick Spriggs.
Oh, wait, I have two.
Alexa, single heart.
I'll get that up. That's like those fiancés. Taco Bell, Taco Bell. And there's two. All right.
Oh,
Three for Taco Bell.
yes.
We appreciate this. All right.
All right, here we go.
It's a three for
Oh, Jason Dawkins.
Jason.
We'll hold on to it for Jason.
Nice.
Okay. And here we go. Truth Lounge. Richard, if you get that. Lily Roper. Is she here? Okay. David Haywood donated this. Proprietor of Truth Lounge.
Shall we do Jason's song?
So now we're going into this group here, the ones in the budget.
Okay.
All right, outside in the stateroom adventure. For two, it's number 8. In envelope.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, bacon. Candle from Nest.
It's the heavy
ready to burn? And thank you for taking photographs today. Next is Darby's. We have a pound of fudge.
Oh, man.
Please don't.
It's, you pick out your own fudge. You have a box, you can pick it out.
You have got to be kidding me. And you got 2 boxes. All right, Richard. Congratulations.
Completed all the things.
Okay. Another pound of fudge from Darby.
Sorry, I got one of those.
Richard's only on there 2 more times.
Okay. All right, so, Alright, so now we have 3 little gifts from One of a Kind gift shop on Main Street. Thank you very much, Sandy Hall.
I'm shuffling my names. All right.
Well, Elizabeth. We have one more lovely gift here before we get to our big prizes. This is from EXP Realty, Jason Dolphin, and it is a lovely gift, also from Ness. And we do not know what it is, but it's surprise.
It's heavy.
Bro.
April, Paul Reed. Thank you. Thank you for coming. We overlooked one, okay? We have a gift certificate from Rise and Shine, Miles 363. Okay, let it go.
Julie Johnson.
Rick Johnson. Yeah. Okay, so now we have our big prizes. Nick, you can take a picture of these.
Yep.
Okay, so we will start with 4 bottles of wine from the new Natchez business, Yellow Car Country Wine. This is an organic wine.
Julie, can you model this right there? Just like hold it up. There you go. Woo-hoo. What did he do?
And they are moving the business to Natchez. So it's $100 worth of wine.
$100 for wine.
I am the one seeing wine.
Oh, goodness. That's me.
Ah.
will drink it though. I will drink it.
We'll all help you.
So was I supposed to take a picture of the winner?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Take a picture.
No.
Oh,
We'll get that.
we'll get it. We'll do it. All right, Silver Street Gifts. Beautiful print. Guys, please read the name of the artist, Linda. Theobald. Yes, this is from Gail Guido. And it is valued at $100.
It keeps going back to that area.
I mean, I don't.
Okay, now, next up is a print, choice of print from Quiet Waters Gallery. And, so, this is a value of $270. And of course, you've seen his work, and you go down and pick up,
Hold on, I'm removing your entries.
I'm removing my entries. I've bingoed 3 times. Never thought of me.
I'm gonna remove mine too.
Okay.
I don't see it anymore.
Oh, yeah,
Okay. All right, contenders are Field Narrows.
Remove Richard.
Yeah. No, really.
He's got the mojo.
That's it.
Well, he
Stand
bingoed.
next to him.
He bingoed. That's it.
Music. We do need some music.
It says Richard.
Lexi.
Alexis Ireland. Right, that would be a nice present.
Oh my gosh.
Nice gift for his new apartment.
They're so pretty.
Okay, the next one is, now Richard, if you win this one, this would be totally wrong. It's a 2-night staycation at both the either the Law or the Natchez Jail, hotel, valued at $350 and donated by Richard Brandon of Lower Lodge.
Watch who wins this.
Yeah, watch him win it.
Almost win.
Rachel Carter.
Dr. Rachael Carter. Great, now we get her back. Good. So that's pronounced jail, now I understand. Next, we have a fun pottery party donated by Magnolia Art Studio Pottery.
You've not been there yet, you've got this one.
This is Liz Blaylock and Company, $350 value.
Mm.
Anybody can just accept Richard Green.
Almost me. By one.
Catherine Parker.
You knew how much I enjoy this stuff.
Miss me by one.
All right, now we have another staycation. This was donated by Jennifer Boone and her partners, Dixon Books and Lofts. This is a 1-night staycation at the Lofts above the Dixon Bookstore. $500 a night.
Yeah, it is. It's nice.
No.
Oh, my God.
No.
I know, somebody
color workshop, which is
So that's not
in
times that.
October. So this is October 23rd and 24th, $575 here in Natchez.
When's our anniversary?
Quiet Waters Watercolor Workshop. Say that 5 times.
Right.
It's not gonna happen, but it was.
No, no. Oh.
Oh.
Well, that is it. Thank you, everybody.
If you have your goodies or gifts or gift cards, can you come to the front and let them know? Please, and then we'll take a photo of you here.
I just want to say to everybody that was involved in planning this and putting it together, you've done a wonderful job. It's been a lot of fun, and we got a lot of good information, and we have just some good networking and made some contacts.
Thank you, everybody. Take some donuts on the way out the door.
Every time her dance instructor said every time she eats a donut, that it's equal to a loaf of bread. And so that's the reason why I say
Oh.
I'm gonna try this.
I don't think anybody wants their picture made. What you reckon?
I'm not sure what we would do tonight.
Yeah.
This is really sweet smelling.
Yep, we're good.
Process of breaking down.
These are addictive now, let me just tell you. You want some really good checks, so you can ask for really good checks.
What time are you on?
Yeah, you should go
busy.